Back in the early 80s, the original Lords of Midnight, an epic medieval adventure, was released in Europe. While it was primarily designed for the Spectrum system, the game was also ported to the Commodore 64. It's been a long time, but Domark is about to continue the saga for the PC with the third installment of Lords of Midnight, The Citadel, written by the original game designer Mike Singleton. The story begins with Luxor, the King of Midnight, on a sea journey. The ship is ambushed and Luxor is taken prisoner by the evil Boroth Wolfheart. A ransom demand is made to Luxor's son, Prince Morkin, but Morkin is not one to surrender without a fight. If Morkin were to gather his forces together in Midnight, Boroth would be alerted by his spies and would expect trouble. So instead, Morkin sneaks into the vicious lands of the Blood March to raise an army from the 12 other realms. The problem is that the leaders of these realms are also being held prisoner within the Black Citadel. Fortunately, Boroth has made a critical error in judgment. Accompanying King Luxor were two friends, Corlith and Arik, Lord Blood. Instead of keeping them captive with Luxor, Boroth sold them into slavery, not realizing their importance and resourcefulness. At the game's start, these characters have escaped the slave pens and are now running free within the Black Citadel, freeing other prisoners. The Citadel is far from your normal single-path adventure game. Within this storyline, the player can choose to look through the eyes of any of 24 different characters involved in the rescue of King Luxor. This does not mean the sort of limitations that go with real-time strategy games either. Time is completely flexible in this game. You can play in real time if you choose, but you can always stop time to calculate simultaneous moves or skip ahead as far as you want to see the outcome of a gambit. While the player can choose to take on the persona of almost any character in the game, that doesn't mean that the other characters are suffering much without player guidance. All you have to do is give the characters some general quests and they'll perform them. Even if you don't manipulate a thing, these guys may manage to rescue Luxor anyway, but you can certainly make things easier with your presence. Perhaps the most impressive thing about Lords of Midnight is its scope. The Blood March is not a small place, and you can explore every beautiful inch of it. Rather than store graphics for the entire continent, the landscape is fractally generated on the fly, and it looks amazing. As time passes, you'll experience the hardships of the different seasons, but you'll also get to appreciate their beauty. Look at this gorgeous winter scene. You can even set the game to continue its action in real time while you're away. When you restart the game, it'll tell you what has happened in the meantime. The adventure reaches its conclusion with a siege on the Black Citadel, the killing of Boroth, and the rescue of the king. But there are so many different perspectives to see this saga from, you'll probably want to start all over again. Lords of Midnight: The Citadel will be on the shelves this spring.